Afternoon all, and welcome back to the Kieran Clowing Racing channel. Now looking at my second stable for part of the Stable Tours series, and this time we're looking at the Dan Skelton stable. Obviously we did the first video a couple of days ago on Paul Nicholls. It's gone down very well, plenty of views there, but it is still there if people haven't watched it as yet. I'm watching this video first. So Dan Skelton, obviously unlucky not to win the trainers title the last 2 years, and he's got plenty of nice horses to go into battle with, especially in the novice hurdle division. He's got plenty of horses that come up from the bumpers last year that will take part in them. There's a couple of novice chasers / handicap plots down the line, and then also I will quickly go through his more renowned horses such as the New Lion, Protectorat, etc. So we'll start with the novice hurdlers for next season. The first I'm going to touch on is Boss Man Jack. Now, he has been very talked about in high praises since his win at Wincanton. He was meant to go to the big sales race up at Newbury at the back end of last season. Fortunately missed it due to a setback. But he's said to go novice hurdling and looks a very nice prospect, potentially starting over 2 miles. And then see how he gets on from there. May step him up in trip in time, but he looks a nice prospect certainly, and I've seen that plenty of people have got him on their radar from the Skelton stable. The next one on the list is another one that has been very well touted off the having come in home from Ireland, that's my Daddy Paddy. Won a Huntington bumper last year. Very nicely, his walk in the park gelding, and goes potentially would be best suited up in trip the way he won at Huntington, won very nicely going away. Will look probably a more like 2 mile 4, nearly 3 miles for this horse in time, especially with the breeding side of things. He's very impressive at Huntington, and I can see plenty of improvement coming from him once he jumps a hurdle. And I know the yard are very excited about him. They keep talking about this horse in high regard. And potentially, is he their Turner's horse? Is he going to follow in the footsteps of the New Lion from last season? We shall see. Potentially, he could be their Channel horse down the line. The next one to touch on is a horse called Cadastrol, who won a Newbury bumper at the back end of last season, won it very nicely. Looks a 2 out and out 2 miler, plenty of speed, and will start in that sphere. But there's another type that they certainly like. Like I said, when they email me back, they see me with lots of potential horses coming from bumpers into novice hurdles, and there's a lot that they're excited about. They've got plenty of nice prospects in the stable this season. Another one being Dalston Lad. Again, he won bumpers up at Ayr and at Aintree last season, and was actually pitched in the champion bumper at the back end of last season, where he finished down the field, and it was quite a muddling race. They went pretty slow, gallop from the front and sprinted at the end, which didn't really suit him, to be honest. He's more 2.5, maybe even 3 miles down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if they started him off over 2.5 and then pushed him up to 3 miles. Dan is very keen to have him up at 3 miles. He thinks he's a stayer in the making. Another one that could be in that stayer sphere is Double Measure. Another novice hurdler who won a bumper at Uttoxeter. He again will probably start off at 2 mile 4 and then step up further down the line towards the 3 mile mark. And then alongside another one who was very, very well touted, and that is Capels de Board. No relation. I'm not sure if he's a relation to Kopek de Board, but he again another one that goes novice hurdling. Obviously was second at Warwick on bumper debut behind No Drama Descend, who I like from the Paul Nicholls stable. That bumper looks very decent. The third, coming out and winning twice since. Skelton never ran this horse again after that. You're more likely starting 2 mile hurdle races and then potentially stepping up to 2 mile 4. but he's a big strapping sort, and I think he's going to be basically built in. He's looking for him to be a chaser further on down the line. Whatever he does over hurdles, potentially could be a blessing in disguise. Then we're going to touch on, there's a couple of dark horses that he also mentions. The first one being Sallyville Lady, a mare off the point-to-point scene that has come over. She won very nicely in her point-to-point. She's going potentially to go straight down the mare's novice route, maybe start off in a bumper first and then go hurdling, but she looks very exciting, as does Real Quartz, another dark horse off the point-to-point stable or scene. This one from Sam Curlin will go straight novice hurdling, and both Dan and Harry are very excited about these two horses, and potentially they could go under the radar in novice company later on down the line, as they've not been seen in bumpers previously. A few handicap plots to touch on. The first one, now it goes down, he actually put it down as a novice chaser to follow, this horse, and it's Be Aware. Novice chaser, obviously second in the Greatwood last year and second in the Coral Cup at the festival. I just think this horse is going to be tailor-made out for the Turner's novice chase, the race that was previously the Turner's novice is now obviously a handicap. I think this horse is going to be tailor-made out for it. He's going to have runs potentially over 2 miles to start with over fences, and then stepped up into handicap company in over 2.5 miles. He's very quirky. He's very sure of himself, and he's definitely got a turn of foot, that's for sure. But I think the further he goes, like he showed in the Coral Cup, he was doing all his best work at the end, and I think you could see him potentially running a decent race in a big field novice handicap. Obviously, there is the Grand Daniel as well over 2 miles, and you've got the plate as well over 2.5. But I think with this, the way the makeup of the Turner's novice is, I think generally this is where this horse is going to end up. He's going to have his 3 spins probably over 2 miles, and then step to 2.5 for the festival. That is just the way I'm going to look at it. That's the way they campaigned him last year, and I think they're going to do a similar sort of thing with him this year. So be aware of Be Aware. Another one who could potentially be a handicap plot down the line is Let It Rain. Now, we haven't seen her since the middle of last season, when unfortunately she got injured. She obviously got beat at Chepstow, but then won. I can't remember if she won. No, she didn't win next time out. But yeah, we haven't seen her at the back end of last season. Currently off a mark of 120. She's not going to be seen till middle to late part of the season. But off a mark of 120 is definitely handicaps for her to be winning. Another one that we won't potentially see much of this season is Live Conti, who was obviously second at Aintree. I think they're saving him this season. I think he's going to be lightly raced, the same as last season, and a big season next year for chasing. But potentially Dan has mentioned that the National Spirit up at Fontwell is potentially a race that they could target with this horse over 2.5 miles. Potentially could be his main target for the season. Another horse that could be interested in handicapping now over fences is Royal Inventory, off a mark of 136. 2 mile 4 handicap chases potentially seen for him. He could go over hurdles first and off that mark, or they could send him straight chasing. They're not sure what they're going to do yet, but he is another one who they think is very much in front of his mark once it comes to running. And the main one, and probably whenever this horse comes out, is well worth backing, because Dan is vibrant and this horse is a 130 horse, and that is Sun Ray Shadow, who won very nicely up at Aintree last season. It's only rated 119, obviously got injured after the race at Aintree, so it hasn't been seen since, but he thinks this horse is a 130 horse, so potentially he's got £11 in hand on the handicapper, and could be well in on the mark. As soon as we see him run, the money could be down on this horse. I think that's all I've covered in regards to novice hurdlers and handicap plots. There's not many novice chasers that we discussed, to be honest. Obviously, the main one was Be Aware, but I think he's going to go. I really think he's going to be aimed at that Turner's Novice at the Cheltenham Festival. I really think that's the plan for him. Quickly touch on 4 main horses from the stable. The first one being Grey Dawning. Now, obviously, last year he ran in the Betfair, kind of got rushed off his feet. Well, kind of in a battle which he didn't want to be in at that time of the season. It really ruined his season, to be honest. He then went to Kempton and ran no race in near King George, and I thought that they might have tried something different this year, but the plan is still to go back to the Betfair Chase. Obviously, he won there. He ran his graduation checks there 2 years ago, and the plan is to go back there. Hopefully, the ground is a bit quicker for him than it was last year, but they are sticking with the plan of the Betfair Chase currently for Grey Dawning, and then obviously the Gold Cup potentially is down the line. The next one is Protect the Rat. Obviously, he won the Ryanair 2 years ago. Stalwart of the yard now. He's done plenty of winning for the stable. Done nothing wrong. He will start off in the Charlie Hall chase, and then we'll go down the likes of probably the Peterborough, the Cotswold chase, that sort of races, before potentially ending up again in the Ryanair. Luddersud obviously ran a decent race both in the Arkle and up at Aintree, where he was second at Aintree behind Caliph de Burley. Slur Chase is the plan for him. Now, he's one of those, is he going to be potentially, is he going to be a champion chase horse, or is he going to be a Grand Annual horse? This is the question. We'll see how he gets on early part of the season. If he wins first time up, then you'd like to think that they're going to try and go for the champion chase route. But if he gets well beaten first time up and then beaten again, you could see him potentially going down the handicap route, of which in the Grand Annual, where obviously Unexpected Party won it a couple of years ago and finished second it last year. Skelton's got a very good record in the race if he's got horses for it. And I think if this horse doesn't do well at graded level first couple of starts, he will then be reinvented into a handicap horse, I would think. And the last one obviously is probably their most excited horse for them in the stable. It is the New Lion. Obviously winner of the Turner's Novice Hurdle last year. Is currently, I believe he's favourite currently for the Champion Hurdle on All Knowing. Now, I know he hasn't, like everybody's saying, he hasn't won over 2.5 miles. He's had one over 2 miles, sorry. He's only won over 2.5, etc. In my opinion, they're very bullish about him. He goes to the Fighting Fifth, where he will potentially take on Constitution Hill. He'll probably go then to the Christmas Hurdle and bump into Constitution Hill again. Depends if Willie Mullins sends over any, whether there's going to be a potential another threat in the Fighting Fifth. Obviously, Golden Ace is meant to go there as well, so that race could be decent. I'm not sure about this new. I think the price is way too short at 4-1 personally. I know it's the apple of Dan's eye. He really loves this horse and really thinks that he's going to do well this season and thinks he is a champion hurdler. But I'm not 100% sure myself, to be honest. But yeah, he will start in the Fighting Fifth. He's a 6-4 favourite currently for that if you want to get involved at those prices. And yeah, so that's the stable tour. The two horses that, like I said, there's 2 horses that stood out for me in this. The first one the first one is Be Aware. Sorry, I really think this horse is going to be their Turner's Novice handicap chase horse, and I really think that is the plan. And then the other one is Sunray Shadow, who they think has got the best part of £11 in hand. So when he comes out, he's get your money down. He's going to be well handicapped in a handicap hurdle somewhere. Potentially going back to Aintree, possibly, could be the plan. But that is that. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. And I will be back on Friday, tomorrow night with the weekend preview, and then Friday I may drop in another Stable Tour podcast. But I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and happy hunting all.